Hi, it's Pete Reed and welcome to today. What we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at using social media. Now, what the idea of this little sort of bit of a video workshop is just to go through and have a look at some of the types of social media and how we can actually think of them in strategic terms. So the first thing I want to do is just to move down when we think about Abraham Maslow. Now, Maslow is the guy who came up with the hierarchy of needs and various other bits and pieces. But the quote from Maslow that I particularly like is that if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem becomes a nail. And it's exactly the same solution inside of social media. There are so many social media tools available to us that if we actually just use the same tool all the time, then effectively we're not going to be using the best tool for the job. So what I've done here is I've actually created a screen that will show us the various types of social media that there is. Now, inside the social media landscape, what I've said is that there is an area called relationships, where if we want to build relationships, then these are the types of tools that we would use. And inside the relationship building tools, I've included things like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I've also included Google Hangouts. And again, there's an argument that would suggest that other tools could fit in there, even things like Google Plus, etc., as part of that relationship building. Now, if that is the aim, then these are the tools that we should be using inside the voluntary sector to actually access these types of people. The other one I've got down here is for sharing. So the sharing area, let's actually see if I can zoom in more equitably. There we go. The sharing area, I've included Google Plus, WordPress, the blogging software, Snapchat, Bambuser, YouTube and Instagram. And again, if your idea is you want to share information and then potentially encourage other people to get back in touch with you, then I would suggest that this is the area that you really ought to be concentrating on and seeing if the tools you're using fit into that particular concept. We've then got an area that I've called tagging. And tagging, what I've actually used is things like Pinterest and Learnist. And the idea is that this is where you can collate your own cabinet of curiosities, your own areas of interest that you can actually capture the information. Now, increasingly, I'm using Evernote for when I want to capture information. I've got the Evernote add-on onto my Chrome browser. And if I see something, then I can very quickly bring it down and add it into a note inside of my Evernote environment and just tag it. So perhaps Evernote should really be inside of there as well. And then up in the top area here, I've put the word playing. Now, I put playing very much inside the social media environment because it's very difficult nowadays to play any online game without being invited to get involved with other people. Now, that means that you are working inside of a social environment. That means that there is the opportunity for social networking. That means that you can actually look at things like reducing social isolation, getting people involved, talking to other people. Even if it's only something like playing cards online, playing word games, playing drafts, playing chess, it means that you can actually engage with other people as part of that social environment. The idea is that if we actually move on, that we can actually say that yes, the top half of that chart is about opportunities to chat and engage with other people, whereas down at the bottom end, we're talking about publishing information, i.e. we want to get information out to people. Now, it's never quite as simple as that, because what I've also done is I've actually got an area at the side there where we're involving people. So on the involvement side was the playing of games and the collating of information using tools such as Evernote to capture information. Whereas the other side was about sharing information, where I'm going to be passing that information on and sharing it with other people. So here's the 4 areas of play, relate, tag and share. And each of these has got its purpose. And so when you're thinking about the client group that you want to talk to and you want to get with, do you want to play? Do you want to relate to them? Do you want them to tag the information that you've got? Or do you want to tag information about them? Do you want to share information with them? It may well be that you actually want to do all of these things, in which case you need to build a balanced campaign. Now, creating a wonderful campaign that gives you all of this area inside of the social media landscape doesn't really work unless you start to build your community. So what we need to do is to think about how we can actually set up your community. Now, by far the easiest way, obviously, is to say, yeah, let's set up the techie bits. The techie bits are by far the easiest. We've also got the ability to set measurable goals. You need smart objectives. You need a smart objectives that will say that I want to have 20 people who will like this page within. I want to have 50 followers who will do this. I want to make sure that I post 16 pieces of information. I want to do this. And you measure and set them as timely goals that you will actually achieve. Getting early adopters to upload pictures, update their profiles and do this and the other. And that's where bringing people together into closed groups where you can actually work them through during workshops or whatever gives you the opportunity of taking a small group of users and engaging them and making sure that their profiles and information is up to date, and brief them on how you're expecting them to become your ambassadors to help you to create your community. Create a welcome page. Create a page so that people know what they're signing up to and how they can actually get in there. And engage with a new member as soon as possible. So as soon as you see that somebody has signed up, send them a welcome message, not just a blanket, oh, thank you for joining, but something that is pertinent to them and what they're interested in. And also have a champion in local groups to encourage others. So when you actually bring together your workshops to get people involved, try to make sure that one or two people become the champions. Those people who are chatty, those people who engage naturally, and they will want to help you, and you can help them to help you. So when it comes to growing your community, the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we use every opportunity to showcase what you're doing. So use Facebook and Twitter to your community. Even if you're not using Facebook and Twitter as primary tools inside of your community, then what you would do is you can still use Facebook and Twitter to tell those users that you exist. Make sure that there is content on side of your community pages, and you can do this by you adding the content. Designate a facilitator or moderator. Make sure that somebody is known as the go-to person if anybody has got a problem. Assign people to tasks. If you've got some jobs that need doing, allow other people to get involved and enable them to do it. And again, make sure that they understand the range of their tasks and make sure that they've got some objectives that they can achieve. Acknowledge those members who use the community frequently. So again, you could say, oh yeah, so-and-so is a frequent flyer. They're always on the site. These are the people who are really going to help you to grow your site. Ask the members of your community what they would like to see. Ask them what they don't like. Ask them for how they would like to make things better. If people are unhappy, then find out why, because it's often the people who are voluble in their complaints who will give you the best feedback as to how they can actually make things better. Publish ongoing lists of group events. Make sure that everything is going and everything is published, and announce new initiatives in the community first. So if you've got a group and you're planning on launching a new work group, a new craft group for older people or whatever, make sure that your community know about it first so that they feel special, so there is a benefit to actually being a member of that community. And then try to make sure that you keep the community content fresh. Refresh it all the time. Make sure that there's nothing on there relating to past events. One of the classic things that I see when I'm looking at this type of thing is that I will see organisations that have got their Christmas events still on their site into February. Christmas is one of those wonderful, wonderful events that the day after Christmas everybody is fed up of. So make sure you keep your events up to date. So energizing your community. Well, the way I would suggest that we think about this is really in terms of setting some tasks. Daily tasks. So for example, I would suggest that for most communities, post 3 items a day. It's not a massive amount, but 3 items a day from you would actually keep and make sure that your site is being refreshed. Weekly tasks. Check the analytics. See how many people have joined, see how many people have left, see what else is actually happening. Monthly tasks. I would suggest that at least once a month you would post a YouTube video clip to your website. or to your social media, even if it's only to say, hey, we're doing really well, thank you for joining, thank you for playing, have you seen this? And then quarterly tasks. And the quarterly tasks should be effectively a root and branch review. Are you hitting your SMART objectives? Is everything working as you would expect it to? Now, you can schedule posts onto most social media, and you can do this using things like Buffer and Hootsuite. And again, Buffer allows you to have a free account, and you can manage a Twitter account, a Facebook account, and a LinkedIn account. And so this is a great way, and you can schedule your posts, because when you're actually working with your group, you will find that there's certain times of the day where people are more active than others. When are people actually going to look at your account or look at that social media account? Hootsuite. The free features of Hootsuite allow users to create numerous social networking streams and view them in a clean and quite happy, simple, friendly way. Now, both of these have got paid for accounts. I think Buffer, you would go awesome. And again, they're both fairly cheap. So if you're working and you're promoting this, this can be a fairly inexpensive way of actually helping to make sure that you're keeping on top of what's actually happening. Now, bear in mind that if you're managing social media, it has a cost. So on a salary of about 26,000, the cost of 15 minutes a day is £980, about £1,000. And the social media must show a return on that investment. So, for example, Simply Health were donating £1 for every like on their Facebook page. So they placed a value on every single like that they got. What value do you place on an action resulting from your social media campaign? Why are you doing it? What are your key objectives? Can you actually get somebody to donate something, a week's shopping, or an iPad, or an iPhone, or a small tablet, or whatever, to people to give them so they can actually use that? I have to say that I used Buffer, and I recently tweeted about using Buffer, and the people from Buffer got in touch and they sent me a sticker, and the sticker is now proudly on the back of my laptop, the one I'm using now, so that every time I go anywhere I'm effectively advertising Buffer. But the reason I did that was quite simply because they acknowledged me, they acknowledged I was working on something, and they sent me a sticker. So it can be as daft as a sticker. Okay, so there we go. I hope you found it useful. There's a very brief introduction to the areas of social media and how you can start to plan it out. I hope you found that useful. I'll look forward to chatting to you later. Cheers then. Bye.